High above the Derwent Valley, gondolas gracefully glide towards the Heights of Abraham. It's the only way to travel, a feeling of soaring like a bird. Our cable cars are a remarkable engineering achievement, which have opened up our shared dramatic landscape to everyone.
People in the village have talked about it, visitors have talked about it, but I think I can claim to be the one person who said, why don't we do it?
This is the story of an idea which took flight.
Local tourism industry was in decline. I think it was a huge gamble.
Changed a whole town and thrilled millions of people along the way. Let's turn back the clock to the 1980s, when tourism in Matlock Bath was in decline. The future looked bleak. The hillside gardens of the Heights of Abraham had been open to visitors since the late 1700s, but the climb to the top was as breathtaking as the view. Something new was needed, something to get people talking.
The modern visitor has walked up, and most of them have thought, if I was in Europe, I'd come up by cable car. That's exactly what motivated me. And we set out by looking round the village and working out the right route. And the route we have chosen came over the railway, the river, the A6 trunk road. Quite challenging, but in actual fact it linked up to the railway station, the coach park and the car parks. So it was the place to start.
Planning permission was granted in late 1983 and work started immediately. By December, the visitor centre had a roof on. Meanwhile, the cable cars themselves were being designed and built in France by a company called Poma. By January 1984, the components were on their way to Matlock Bath. Everything seemed to be going well, but when the French construction team arrived, it soon became apparent the hills of the Derbyshire Dales would not be easy to tame.
They began to drift out of their time frame, which I had to open on time and on budget, and that's when we had to introduce a helicopter to make the final construction.
The helicopter would help deliver parts of one of the pylons that support the cable. In the Alps, this is specialist work. A British pilot had never done it before. A short wire made the dangling piece of metal easier to guide. But that meant the helicopter needed to fly closer to the trees. Delivering tons of steel to the top of a 23.5-metre high tower called for great skill. More daring was required to deliver the bracket for the pylon. Suddenly, hearts were in mouths. Thinking it was in place, the pilot released the heavy load too soon. The steelwork was left precariously balancing. As darkness fell, it had to be winched into place by hand. For the French team, it was a moment of triumph. They had won the day, and the project was back on track. Next, the cable had to be carefully wound over the railway, river, and road. It was spliced together, tightened up, and the gondolas attached. With days to spare, the system was tested. Finally, Britain's first Alpine-style cable car was ready for takeoff.
Opening day was just an unbelievable experience. We had a representative from every member of the media, and obviously a lot of people as well.
The investment paid off. An iconic new attraction had been created.
Pre-cable car, everything was very quiet here. After the cable car, we were full to capacity really from day one.
But that's not the end of the story. Things are always on the move at the Heights of Abraham. In 2004, after travelling almost 120,000 miles, the original gondolas finally came into land for the last time.
When new advancements have come out, we've been very quick to invest. The new cabins in particular give fantastic views, and for the engineering team are much easier to service. In fact, there's very little left of the original cable car system. You can see behind me the very modern control system. That is a relatively recent investment, so it is ongoing.
One thing remains the same though. The cable cars are a truly remarkable achievement. With 12 gondolas arranged in 4 trains of 3, they can handle up to 500 passengers per hour. It's a 360 horsepower motor moving the cable at up to 11 miles per hour with a single journey taking 6 minutes. You travel 568 meters forward and climb 169. Quite a saving of leg power walking up the hill. No wonder they are so popular. And when you're high in the sky, spare a thought for our engineers, who inspect every part of the system regularly to keep it in perfect and safe working order. Now, having enjoyed the flight, you're part of the story too. Thank you for soaring over Derbyshire and visiting us here at the Heights of Abraham. We hope to see you again soon.